Hello, folks, and welcome to my 2044 election prediction. If somehow me, my friend Monty, and my other friend Ryan were all running against each other for the presidency of the United States, I am using the most updated electoral map possible, and I would just like to address a few things. One, for Ryan's Heal America party. It is a party that I think he would have based on his views of the world. This will be completely, unbiased, because I just want to say what would happen. And let me explain. Ben is a typical Republican, but there could be some success with Democratic states such as Nevada or Michigan, because Michigan is kind of not exactly a toss-up. Monty is a typical Democrat, and Ryan's Heal America party is big on the eastern side of the country. Anything like from Minnesota or over, he's very big there. And he's even a bit big in the west here. And we'll see what happens, but first I'm going to have the poll results 2 weeks before election night in America. Okay, so folks, I've finished the polls from ABC News. These are the polls. Now you might notice some things. You might notice that, wow, Ryan's only advantage here is in the East. And wow, looking at the score just based off the polls, the Democrats are going to win this if they just get a couple of these swing states. Well, you are very untrue there, because firstly, a lot of these states could definitely go to Ryan or Ben. It's 100% possible. And all these states right here, Iowa, Missouri, Arkansas, and Louisiana, they're all likely to go to Ryan. That's not like a lean or something. That's a likely. Wisconsin is a lean. Now, if we look over here, a lot of these states are up for debate, like Vermont, New Jersey, DC, Maryland, Delaware, Vermont. They're pretty safe for Democrat, but New Jersey, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Connecticut are actually being led by Ryan. Because, as I said, he is very good in the East. He will persuade the Eastern voters. Texas would usually be a likely, but considering the Democrats are starting to have a push with Texas, and that Ryan is good with big economy with with big cities, then this could go either way. As you can see, most of the Midwest is locked up, besides maybe South Dakota and Nebraska's 2nd Congressional District. We look over here at the East. California is not a solid blue because, again, Ryan is very good with big cities, so that could go a different way. We'll just have to see when election night comes. And I'd like to say that Nevada and Arizona are going to both be swing states, and Colorado could also be a swing state. So we will see what happens. Oh, and I'd also like to address that New York is going to be a big swing state between Ryan and Monty. Ben has virtually no chance there, as it is typically Democrat, but again, Ryan's Heal America first slogan and party. Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan are all going to be big. Illinois is likely to go Democrat, but Ryan could have an invasion there. Ohio is where they're all from. Florida, as usual, is always a big swing state. Georgia has become a swing state with all 3 parties. And North Carolina is a swing state with all 3 parties. Quick disclaimer, I am not going to be doing poll closings based on how they actually happen. I'm just going to be doing them onto a certain point because I do not know the schedule of the poll closings. And welcome to election night in America, where we have 3 big candidates to grab the presidency. We have Ben, who is a Republican. We have Monty, who is a Democrat. And then we have Ryan, who has his third party, Heal America. And we have just received our first poll closings all the way up to West Virginia and Virginia. And we have some predictions. We would like to predict that we have a prediction that the District of Columbia is going to go for Monty. We are predicting that Maryland is going to go for Monty. We are predicting that Delaware is going to go for Monty. New Jersey is too early to call, but as of now, it is leaning Democratic. Connecticut is too early to call, but it is leaning towards Ryan. Rhode Island is too early to call, but it is leaning towards Ryan. Massachusetts is too early to call. It is currently not leaning either way. We can predict that Vermont will go to Monty. New Hampshire is too early to call as there is no leader visible. Maine is too early to call. New York is too early to call, but it is currently leaning Democratic. Pennsylvania is too close to call and apparently early. We are making the prediction. We're predicting that West Virginia will go to Ben, his first state of the night. And Virginia is too early to call, but Ryan does have a lead there. That is expected to change. And welcome back to Election Night in America. It is currently 8 p.m. and we have closings all the way up to Missouri and Arkansas and all these border states here. And we have some projections. We project that South Carolina will go for Ben, the Republican. Georgia is too early to call. Florida is too close to call. North Carolina is too close to call. Tennessee is too close to call, but Ryan does appear to have a lead there. Alabama, we can predict, will go for Ben. Mississippi, we can predict, will go for Ben. Louisiana is too early to call, but Ryan does have a lead there. Arkansas is too early to call, but Ryan does have a lead there. Missouri is too early to call, but Ryan does have a lead there. Kentucky, we can project, will go for Ben. Iowa is too early to call, but as of now, Ryan does have a lead. Minnesota is too close to call as no one has a sizable lead yet to talk about. Wisconsin is too early to call as Ryan does have a slight lead there. Illinois is too early to call as Monty is likely to win this state. Indiana, we can project, will go for Ben. Ohio is going to be too early or too close to call for most of the night as all three candidates are from there. Michigan is too close to call as of now. And that is it for these poll closings as of now. Welcome back to Election Night in America, everybody. We have some more poll closings in the Midwest here, and we have some projections to make. We can project that the state of North Dakota is going to go for Ben. We can project that the state of South Dakota will go for Ben. There's some hope that Ryan could win this state, but it has been Republican for a long time. We can project that 4 out of 5 of Nebraska's votes will go for Ben. Currently, District 2 is up for grabs. We can project that Kansas will go for Ben. We can project that Oklahoma will go for Ben. Texas does not have a clear winner right now. It is too close to call. Montana, we can project, will go for Ben. Wyoming, we can project, will go for Ben. Colorado is too early to call. We can project that New Mexico will go for Monty. There is some hope that Ryan could steal it, but that will simply not be happening tonight. And we have some other things going on over here in the East. We can project that Louisiana is going to officially go to Ryan. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. There is a mishap in the system. Technical difficulty. Sorry about the technical difficulties, folks. We have fixed that. We hope it will not happen again. Anyways, the state of Louisiana is going to go for Ryan. The state of Arkansas is going to go for Ryan. The state of Tennessee is still too close to call, but it is starting to lean more towards Ryan. Virginia is also starting to lean more towards Ryan. We can project that Connecticut is going to go for Ryan. We can project that Rhode Island is going to go for Ryan. New Jersey, as of now, is a toss-up. Massachusetts remains a toss-up. New Hampshire remains a toss-up. And Maine is starting to have a little bit of attraction from Ryan. Pennsylvania is starting to lean towards Monty. And Michigan is starting to lean towards Monty. North Carolina, Georgia, and Florida still do not have an opinion. Welcome back, folks. We have our second to last closing of the night with a total of 7 states in it. We will have Alaska and Hawaii later. But first, we have some projections to make. We can project that the state of Idaho will go to Ben. We can project that the state of Utah will go to Ben. Arizona is too early to call, but as of now, it leans towards Ben. We can project that the state of Washington will go to Monty. Oregon is too early to call, as there is right now some hope that Ryan will be able to flip it. So as of now, it is only leaning towards Monty. California is also too early to call, but it is likely to go for Monty as of now. Texas is also starting to lean Republican, which if Ben can win that, then that will be a huge win for him. And we have other news, as in Ryan is starting to make a comeback. In New Jersey is leaning for Ryan. Massachusetts is leaning for Ryan. New Hampshire is leaning for Ryan. And Georgia is leaning for Ryan. Ohio still has no preference. Minnesota is starting to lean for Ryan. Nevada and Colorado still have no preference. Technical error. Now let's take a look at the electoral map right now. Ryan is doing very good in some of these states. In other states in the Midwest, Ben is doing very good. And in both extreme sides of the country, Monty is doing good. This is still anyone's election, and if it comes to no one gets majority votes of 270, then we will be forced to have a runoff election with only 2 candidates, and the one with the least votes will have to concede. Welcome back, folks. It is currently 12 a.m. and we have some predictions we'd like to make. First, we can project that the state of Tennessee will go for Ryan. We can project that the state of Virginia will go for Ryan. We can project that the state of Missouri will go for Ryan. We can project that the state of Iowa will go for Ryan, as there was hope that the Republicans would be able to do something with it this year. We can project that the state of Wisconsin will go for Ryan. Minnesota is still too close to call, but as of now, it is likely to go for Ryan. We can now project that Michigan will go for Monty. There's some hope that either party could steal Michigan, but it has been blue for quite a bit. New York is now officially a toss-up state after first being leaning blue. Ryan has started to make a comeback there. North Carolina is now leaning for Ryan. Arizona is now more likely to vote for Ben. Oregon is now officially a toss-up state, as there was hope that Ryan could steal, and as of now, he is. Nevada is leaning blue. Colorado is leaning blue. And we are not ready to call California yet, as it is still too close to call. Florida is still too close to call, and Ohio is very too close to call. And the reason that Michigan has been called for Monty is because it has been found that Ryan and Ben were very negative towards that state in the past. And they have not found much evidence that Monty was, so it was purely based off of negativity. Hello, folks. We are ready to make our final poll closings of the night. We can project that the state of Alaska will go for Ben, and we can project that the state of Hawaii will go for Monty. And now we have some more predictions coming up. We can predict that the state of Georgia is going to go for Ryan. After being very contested, it will go for Ryan. We can project that the state of North Carolina is going to go for Ryan. We can project that the state of New Jersey and Massachusetts will also go for Ryan, after being very heavily contested by the Democratic Party. We can also project that New Hampshire will go for Ryan. This is just a sea of green right now. We can project that Maine will go for Ryan, but that 2nd district in Maine is still very much a toss-up. And it looks like I just took the entire district away, but I really didn't. New York is starting to lean blue again, which is a good sign for the Democratic Party. Florida has its first lean of the night, leaning green. We can now project that Colorado will go for Monty. We can now project that Nevada will go for Monty. We can now project that Oregon will go for Ryan. We can now project that Arizona will go for Ben. And we can also project that Minnesota will go for Ryan. As you can see, this is a very close election night so far. It is currently 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Ohio is the only toss-up state left, and Ben is going to have to come back and win New York and Florida if he has a chance to beat out anyone to make it, as no one is going to secure a 270 win. Welcome back to Election Night in America, folks, and it looks like this will be our final predictions of the entire night. Let's get started. First, we can project that Illinois will go for Monty, as it was semi-contested by Ryan, but it seems like it will go Democrat as it usually does. We can project that California will go for Monty, as it usually does, and it has since the 80s. We can project that Pennsylvania will go for Monty, as Pennsylvania has been leaning very Democratic since 2020. We can project, I'm sorry, folks. We can project that New York is going to go for Monty, as it has. We can project that Florida is going to go for Ryan, as was expected ever since we said it was leaning. We can project that Ohio, as of now, with 99.9% of the voting, is going to go for Ben. We can project that Maine's 2nd congressional district will go for Ben. And we can project that Nebraska's 2nd congressional district will go for Monty. So that concludes the first election night. Ben will be eliminated and will have to concede. Then we are going to have a runoff election. Hello, folks. It is now December 10th. Welcome back to Election Night in America 2.0. Oops, I am so sorry that I did not remove that before. Welcome back to Election Night 2.0, as Ryan and Monty will be having a runoff election as Ben was eliminated. And the biggest person was 200. And we will have election predictions in a second. Welcome back to Election Night in America, folks. Again, we will be calling states up to Virginia and West Virginia. And we already have some predictions. Now, do keep in mind that some voters have swayed their opinions. So we will see how this goes. First, we have the District of Columbia voting for Monty. We have Maryland voting for Monty. We have Delaware voting for Monty. New Jersey is very up in the air right now. Connecticut is too close to call, but it is leaning Ryan. Rhode Island is too close to call, but it is leaning towards Ryan. Massachusetts is too early to call, but it is leaning Democrat. We can project that Vermont will go to Monty. New Hampshire is simply too early to call or make an opinion for. We can not make an opinion for Maine either. New York is too early to call, but Democrats are leading. Pennsylvania is also too early to call, but Democrats are leading. We can project that West Virginia will go for Ryan. And we can also project that Virginia is going to go for Ryan. As of now, the score is 76-27, but do keep in mind that a lot of these are not confirmed votes. As of confirmed votes, it's 17-19 with Monty leading. And do remember that we have a whole other country covering here, so we will see what happens throughout election night. Welcome back to Election Month in America, folks, where we are making calls now. Technical glitch, all the way up to the Mississippi River. And we have some calls to make. We can project that Louisiana will go for Ryan. We can project that Arkansas will go for Ryan. We can project that Missouri will go for Ryan. We can project that Indiana will go for Ryan. We can project that Tennessee will go for Ryan. We can project that Alabama will go for Ryan. Mississippi is a bit up in the air right now, but they're very likely to go for Ryan, as he is still a semi-Republican. South Carolina is also up in the air, but like Mississippi, they are likely to go Republican. Kentucky is also likely to go for Ryan, because he's a semi-Republican, so he should lead in most of those states. Illinois is likely to go for Monty. Iowa is up in the air. Minnesota is leaning Democrat, but we also it happened a month ago when it did. Wisconsin currently is not leaning towards anybody. Michigan is leaning towards Monty. Ohio is not leaning towards anybody, as both candidates are from there. North Carolina is not leaning towards anybody. Georgia is not leaning towards anybody. And Florida isn't leaning towards anybody. We have one big projection and we have an announcement. So first, we would like to project that the state of Rhode Island will go for Ryan. And the state of Massachusetts is now going to be a toss-up state after previously leaning Democrats. All right, let's zoom out. As of now, it is 108 to 104, but that could change drastically as we don't know what will happen as of now. And again, there is still half the country to cover in the election. Welcome back to election month in America, because it's been about a month. And we have about 10 more states closing around that. And we have some projections to make. We can project that the state of North Dakota will go for Ryan. We can project that the state of South Dakota will go for Ryan. We can project that 4 out of 5 votes for Nebraska will go for Ryan, but as usual, that second district is up for debate. We can project that Kansas will go for Ryan. We can project that Oklahoma will go for Ryan. Texas is very up in the air right now, and they're too early to call. We can project that Wyoming will go for Ryan. We can actually not project that Colorado will go for anyone, as they are too early to call, but Monty does have a lead. We can project that the state of New Mexico will go for Monty. And Montana, as of now, only has a lean towards Ryan. And some other news happening on the eastern side of the country. We can now project that the state of Connecticut will go for Ryan. We can now project that the state of New Jersey will go for Ryan, previously being very Democratic. It was very hard to wait, but it has been very on this year about Ryan. We can now project the state of Pennsylvania will go for Monty. After having some debate during the first election, it does not now. You can project that the state of Illinois will go for Monty. Similar to Pennsylvania, it had some debate in the first election, but not much now. And we can also project that the state of Massachusetts will go for Monty. And North Carolina is now starting to lean towards Ryan. We can now project that the state of Kentucky will go for Ryan. We can now project that the state of South Carolina will go for Ryan. And Mississippi is still likely, but we cannot make a projection there yet. Let's zoom out a bit. And then New Hampshire and Maine, Florida, Georgia, Ohio, Wisconsin, and Iowa are all too close to call. Now, as we see here, there's still a bit of the country to cover, but it is a 164 to 134 race right now. Ryan seems to have the lead as he is stealing many states in the East that should go Democratic but aren't because of Ryan's sway in the East. And we'll see what happens when we return to election night in America. Welcome back to election night 2.0 in America. It is currently 11 p.m. in the Eastern Standard Time, and it is 8 in the West, and they are still up and still voting, but their polls did just close, and we have some projections. We can project that the state of Idaho will go for Ryan. You cannot project the state of Utah is too early to call, but it is leaning towards Ryan. The state of Arizona is too early to call, but it is leaning towards Monty. We can now project the state of Washington will go for Monty. Oregon is too early to call as it has no sway. We can project that the state of California will go for Monty, again being contested in the first election, but it isn't very contested in this one. And we have some sways. We can say now that Georgia is starting to sway towards Ryan. We can call the state of Mississippi for Ryan after being a bit contested since the Republican Party dropped out. It did eventually go for Ryan. Same with South Carolina and Kentucky. The state of Wisconsin is starting to lean towards Ryan. Montana is now likely to go for Ryan. We can project that all 4 votes from Maine will go for Monty. New Hampshire, we can now project, will go for Ryan. The 2nd Congressional District in Nebraska will go for Monty. Texas, Nevada, Oregon, Iowa, Ohio, and Florida all have no lean right now. And it is still a very close and toss-up election. Welcome back to what feels like an eternity, but really it's only been a month of elections in America. As we had the first one a month prior, and Ben in the Republican Party had to concede. And now we have this election, and we have some calls to make. First, we have poll closings in Alaska and Hawaii, and we would like to say that we can now project that Monty will win the state of Hawaii, and Ryan is likely to win the state of Alaska. That is not a projection, it is just likely. Texas is starting to sway towards Ryan, but it is still very up in the air. Oregon and Nevada are both starting to lean towards Monty. Colorado, we can now project that Colorado will go for Monty after being a bit contested. We can now project that Michigan will go for Monty. We can also project that the state of North Carolina will go for Ryan. And everything else is still and we can also project that the state of Montana will go for Ryan. As I was trying to say, everything is still pretty up in the air, but as of now, Ryan has a 248 lead, and Monty's 236. But all Monty needs to do is secure a couple states and maybe flip Georgia, win Florida, win Ohio. Oregon might not even matter. Welcome back to Election Night 2.0 in America, or Election Month. There are many nicknames that it is going by right now. And we have some state projections to make as it is narrowing in. First, we would like to project that the state of New York is going to stay for Monty. There was still hope that it would go for Ryan, but it did not. We'd like to make the projection that the state of Wisconsin will go for Ryan. Oh, I'm sorry, I did not change. Bug. Iowa is officially starting to lean for Ryan. We'd like to make the projection that Georgia will go for Ryan after previously only leaning. We would like to make the projection that Alaska will go for Ryan after only being likely. We'd like to make the projection that Utah will go for Ryan after previously only leaning. We would also like to make the projection that Oregon will go for Monty, which is a very crucial state for him. We would also like to make the projection that Arizona will go for Monty. And that is all we have right now. Florida and Ohio are still heavily up in the air. Nevada and Minnesota are only leaning Democrat. Texas and Iowa are only leaning Ryan or Heal America. And Florida and Ohio are still too close to call. It is now 6 o'clock in the morning on the eastern coast, and we have some projections to make. First, we project that the state of Texas is going to go for, Ryan. It was very close for debate, but it has decided to go for Ryan. We would like to make the projection that the state of Iowa will go for Ryan, as it was only leaning previously. We would like to make the projection that the state of Minnesota will go for Monty. And after previously leaning Democrat, the state of Nevada will go for Ryan. Now all we have left is Ohio and Florida. If Ryan wins either one of these, he wins the election. So Monty has to win both of these in order to win the election. Welcome, folks. It is now 9 a.m. In Eastern Standard Time, and we have our final predictions of the election. First, with a margin of 0.6%, the state of Florida has gone to Monty. And finally, the state that we all knew it would come down to, the state of Ohio, where both candidates were born, only by 6,000 votes out of the 5.4 million citizens that voted here. Only by 6,000 votes has Ohio gone to Monty. Monty, the Democrat, has won the election over Ryan Heal America, and in the earlier election, Ben, the Republican. Take a look at the map now, folks. There were some flips, like Nevada, and, of course, New Jersey was a flip. Maine was even a flip, if you consider it that. This was a very interesting election night, and we will come back to it when it's the 2048 election. Thank you all for watching, guys, and stay safe.